I saw a letter from the governor that said the state will pay back all these expenditures as long as the law is enforced. And then I saw a publicly released video of Councilman Kleinfelder demeaning and basically accusing a taxpayer-funded police officer of lying. And I'm worried about what this does to public trust. Why are my taxpayer dollars funding that behavior? Is the lack of police enforcement going to cost us the state reimbursement? I think everybody seems to forget why the police need to be there, for public safety within the community because of the large gathering of the protesters. There has been a lack of enforcement. Building department, electric, zoning, Department of Health, and signs. I don't know if you guys have seen, but I have a great picture of the, I don't know if you can see it, the illegal structure that just got built up on DHHL or state lands. Doesn't matter, permits are still enforced.
After reading the comments of TMT Vice President and spokesperson Gordon Squires in last Sunday's Star Advertiser, I feel that the TMT Board of Governors is finally seriously considering leaving the mountain. On Sunday, Squires said some important things that this council should support while objecting to the increased cost of police harassment of the protectors at the Kupuna blockade. I recommend this council pass a resolution based on Mr. Squires' statements. It should urge Mayor Kim and Governor Ige to acknowledge that, number one, a simple police sweep of the access road and the nearby camp at Pu'uhuluhulu cannot resolve the Mauna Kea protests, which have spread across the state and beyond Hawaii. Number two, this situation is clearly about issues far beyond TMT and Mauna Kea. Many of the issues the activists raise on the mountain are vast, complex, and historical, including Hawaiian sovereignty and self-governance, preservation of Hawaiian language and culture, and environmental protection. Number three, the TMT project has become a catalyst for much bigger issues to come to the surface and be addressed, hopefully this time successfully.
The issue, I think, is not actually TMT, and some other people have mentioned that. The TMT almost is like an aside. It's just kind of got caught up in all the other issues that really have been discussed. And frankly, I'm a civil rights protester from Martin Luther King, and if they were protesting at the DHHL, I would be right there beside them. But they're protesting a telescope. So to me, this is not a good use of very much. I think the telescope will do nothing but good for Hawaii. And I'm sorry to see that the effort and the energy isn't being directed towards what they say their real concerns are. That actually kind of hurts.
Desecration on the Mauna is not part of conservation and preservation. In my belief, I'm all for science. I always was for science. This cost is not only to me on taxes being paid from my pocket and all community members around, but it also impacts my family. Gathering rights, Article 12, Section 7. Cultural, spiritual practices, traditional practices. I have family and friends being denied on the Mauna right now. Family and friends that stand up on the Mauna right now. I too have been up on the Mauna myself. So I'm just asking, not only reimbursement and the cost of funds through taxes, but reimbursement kuleana also. Mahalo.
County and the state. First and foremost, I want to thank the mayor for his letter to the governor asking for a delay of 30 days on the construction of TMT. I'm perplexed that the governor didn't grant his request, especially when TMT is being built in his and our county. Just maybe this delay would have stopped what has happened. We are the most divided by the difference of opinion on TMT than any other project that has risen in this state. One has to hope that this disgraceful dilemma will not keep us apart.
I totally think it's so ridiculous. The signs, the money that we're spending. I don't understand why the police are up there patrolling. Before that, they were parked on the side of the road. I understand that it's not their jurisdiction. I don't understand why they're up there tagging people and patrolling or even parked on the side of the road. This is a DLNR, they have their own police. If TMT needs some kind of security, they should be like other businesses in our community that hire police to do special duty. I don't understand why that is not being considered. Why are our police up there doing a job that they shouldn't be doing? They shouldn't be doing that. They're criminalizing us. We're motorists using the highway to go back and forth, and they're giving tickets to us and to tourists. There's so much more that I want to talk about, but it's redundant. This has already been on the table. I've lived here my whole life. And, I speak for myself, but I speak also for my daughter. And I just wanted to say that because that right now is what's important to me. But there's a whole lot of things. I'm a hula practitioner. I'm a Catholic. I don't consider the mountain my religion because I am a Catholic. But as a hula practitioner, that mountain is sacred to me. So I need you folks all to consider the people of this community. Because if TMT needs protection up there, then TMT needs to hire police special duty. If DLNR can't do it, the police shouldn't be doing it. $4 million, where are we going to get that from? Because obviously the governor doesn't want to give us the money. Right? Because I feel like it's extortion when he makes our mayor tell our chief of police to tell our police officers to go up there and make hakaka with everybody. That is not fair.
This whole thing is just so ridiculous, and all it's going to do is touch off a bigger and bigger fire. I know that there's this big push now to do something about it. I caution you folks very much. I mean, if you think you spent a lot now, you cannot believe what's coming down the pike. You cannot believe what's coming down the pike because it's going to explode in your face. What you need to know is those kupuna in there, those kupuna and those people around there, those are your mothers, your grandmothers, your aunties, your children, your grandchildren, yeah? And you're sending our policemen, our cousins, to go do dirty work for a private corporation, okay? I don't know how Mauna Kea became unsacred when it's been sacred for thousands of years.
So that's my thing about that. The money's going to the brothers and sisters. They deserve it. Being a cop is 24 hours a day. You carry your gun when you're with your family in a restaurant, all that kind of stuff. So good they got the money. But we shouldn't be using it like that. The way we're being represented as a police department, as a county, is wrong. We shouldn't have officers doing that. We cannot put officers outside of bars at night just to wait to see who comes out drunk and follow them. That's unconstitutional. Can't. So how come we can go up there, stick up signs in the middle of the day, in the middle of the island, and then now start enforcing cars that are parked less than 10 feet from the pavement? That's ridiculous.
You have 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. So, okay. I'm going to go real quick with TMT then, just to talk about that a little bit. Let's remember this isn't a telescope. It's the 14th telescope. Let's remember that 1.4 billion that's always talked about. Do you ever ask where the money actually is? How much is Japan getting paid for the mirrors? How much is Canada getting paid for the building? How much of 1.4 billion actually impacts here? And real quick, last, jobs. If getting things like that is great for us because it creates jobs, how come we still need jobs? My father was a union organizer in 1960. I remember jobs, strikes, jobs, strikes, jobs. We're in the same position now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mahalo for your testimony.
Aloha, my name is Jason Perez. I was the council members. I was not prepared.
Aloha.
I thought it was going to be a totally different meeting. And then I guess the amount pulled me here because this is where I am. I guess about what you guys actually have control of is the police, the county police, and they're pretty much harassing everybody. Taxpayers, like the people that going over. My girlfriend got to leave 2 hours ahead of time, beyond her hour half of time, just in case it gets stopped. She gets stopped up there, for a tint, however, yeah. But I think we could spend more of our money to more reasonable things, yeah.
The police are up there to enforce the law. and the law was interpreted by the Hawaii Supreme Court. But I'd like to read some excerpts from the dissenting opinion on that Supreme Court decision by Justice Wilson. While conceding that Mauna Kea receives constitutional and statutory protection commensurate with its unchallenged position as the citadel of the Hawaiian cultural pantheon, the BLNR applies what can be described as a degradation principle to cast off cultural or environmental protection by establishing that prior degradation of the resource to a level of damage causing a substantial adverse impact extinguishes the legal protection afforded to the natural resources in the conservation district. Using the fact that the resource has already suffered a substantial adverse impact, the BLNR concludes that further land uses could not be the cause of the substantial adverse impact. Under this new principle of natural resource law, one of the most sacred resources of the Hawaiian culture loses its protection because it has previously undergone substantial adverse impact. The degradation principle portends environmental and cultural damage to cherished natural and cultural resources. It dilutes or reverses the foundational dual objectives of environmental law, namely to conserve what exists or is left and to repair environmental damage. It perpetuates the concept that the passage of time and the degradation of natural resources can justify unacceptable environmental and cultural damage. The state authorized previous construction within the astronomy precinct that created substantial adverse impact. Thus, the party that caused the substantial adverse impact is empowered by the degradation principle to increase the damage. Now, the most extensive construction project yet proposed for the astronomy precinct is deemed to have no substantial adverse impact due to the extensive degradation from prior development of telescopes in the summit area.
Please summarize, Corey.
The degradation principle renders inconsequential the failure of the state to meet its constitutional duty to protect natural and cultural resources for future generations.